Hello guys and girls, hello G's and G's. How you guys doing, internet people? All the greetings I can give you guys and accolades, I give to you. It's your boy Raj Maverick. Today, the topic for me is just something near and dear. A couple of my friends have been reaching out, trying to transition their careers. And a couple of you have just sent me DMs when I posted some content about update recently. That just inspired me to break down how to get CVs that get you interviews. So personally, I used to run a company that employed over 30 people, and I knew what we were looking for. I knew the systems we used and how we built them. But before then, I also used to look for jobs, if you know what I mean. And I'll tell you this, it's all in stages. I understood the process of you need to get your CV curated in such a way before it gets to the human interface where someone looks at your CV. It goes through a process of different systems checking it and algorithms. So how can we get your CV first of all to get past through all those hurdles and get you straight to the person in charge that can help you set up an interview? Not just that, but help you set up an interview. That being said, there are a couple of things I feel they are quite simple to do, but many people overlook them, and not necessarily like there's any reason they don't do it. It's just because they don't know for sure. Enough yapping, let's get into it. Yeah, so I have a template CV here, and the reason I want to show this is because, like I was saying earlier, I have built CVs not just for myself countless times, and I've always gotten straight through to those interview processes. In fact, I have interviews lining up whenever I need a job. But secondly, because I keep doing this for my friends on a one-on-one basis, I just felt, why not just make one video? I can send it to them whenever they need to, upgrade their CV and stuff like that. But you know what, I'll put it out there. If you feel like you want to check it out and use this as a template, I'll also put the link or just link this asset, this document for you guys to download it as well. So first things first, how do we get your CV to be one that always gets interviews? You need your CV to be able to pass through those hurdles and get you to the interview stage. When we get to the interview stage, we'll talk about that later on. But I need you guys to get your money up. I need my community, my circle to get their money up. And obviously, going from mid-range role, or what they call it, executive entry-level role, to mid-level, senior level role, it comes down to this first of all. Obviously, you're going to have to show that you are competent in the role, but this is very critical. You need to be able to show that I know what I'm doing and my CV speaks for itself. I won't lie to you, sometimes when a recruiter sees your CV, half of your potentials for getting that job is done, because they now believe like all he has to do is just show us. It's kind of like dating. The girl already likes you. It's just for you not to fuck it up. Permit me, I just cursed. But it's basically for you not to just mess it up. Like come here and just show us that, yeah, you still got steez, I'm already into you. So that's kind of dating dynamic you want to have with your recruiter. Show them that like, yeah, I speak what I said on my CV. The first things that I would sum it up to for the reasons why CVs don't pass that first stage of algorithm and it just scans out of the system. First, it comes down to poor formatting. It comes down to lack of keywords. And, your CV is very generic, or you don't have like very concrete, stable summary. Those are the first things that you need to first know. Okay, this CV needs to have these things as its core. Secondly, I want you guys to first know that it's very important that you pass through the ATS system. The ATS system is basically what they use to scan. So we call it applicant tracking systems. And it's just like algorithms, because imagine a recruiter at a very big company like PwC, for instance, or Accenture would have how many people apply for one role? Maybe 20,000 people. Even if it's 5,000 people, just imagine what recruiter do you think will be efficient at his job if he has to go through 5,000 CVs to find the right candidate? By the time he gets to candidates 200, he's tired, his brain is fried, he can't read through it, he's just gonna be skimming through it. So they've developed ATS systems that pick out your formatting, because it can't read past that. Pick out your formatting and other reasons, other systems that help the company select the people that are top applicants or most likely qualified for that role. So let's understand how ATS works first of all. ATS scans for keywords. First of all, I'm using a template here that is related to cybersecurity. So let's say your role is related to cybersecurity, for instance, right? What are the keywords? What are the technologies and tools that we use in cybersecurity? Do you understand? Are you an Azure specific person? Do you want to show that you have a versatile and wide array of skills. So maybe you want to add Azure skills, cloud security skills in general, AWS. You want to have those keywords, because if you have just keywords for one direction, obviously you would have to make multiple versions of your CV every time you're applying for a job. Because if you're applying for an Azure job and you only put Azure things on your CV, obviously when you're applying for an AWS role, that means you have to create a CV that has an AWS expertise, as long as you know about AWS, right? But you can also just put them both and practice both so that you know how to use both of them. And that would help the algorithm pick you when you're applying for an AWS role or an Azure role. That's the first thing. Keywords. You want to have at least 30 keywords on your CV. Make sure that you put those keywords strategically within your experience, within your summary, your project and stuff. I'll show you guys an example here. Secondly, the job titles. So I've seen many people just put in very bland job titles. It's almost like you're trying to play humble because you're trying to show like, oh, no, I didn't do too much in this role. But come on, you have to give yourself credit, especially on your CV. Put that job title in a powerful language, make it show that, oh yeah, I'm confident, I'm proud of this role that I did for this company. That's the second thing. And the third thing is standard formatting. On one side, we see CVs that are so plain. It's just like a plain document. It's like you didn't even put any effort into making that CV look interesting, right? Look presentable and beautiful. And on the other hand, we see people who think their CV is supposed to be the Mona Lisa, because you're trying to put different things here, create multiple columns and tables and all these things. Like, bruh, ain't nobody got time for that. For real. The idea is create a CV that stands out, in a subtle way. Make it seem professional. If it's a creative job, then maybe you want to throw a rainbow color on your portfolio background, cool. But like you're trying to get a professional job. So you can see here what I did was I changed the color, right? It's like a green color. Out of 3,000 CVs, if he remembers the guy that had the green colored CV, he will know how to search for it. He will know where to find it. In fact, he could be skimming fast and he'll still pick me out. So that's the whole idea about, just subtle changes or put a colored headline. So for instance, where I have your name here, it could be a white document, but you have that part colored. Just something that creates an impression. Secondly, don't create unnecessary tables, because you have to avoid tables. Let me just say that, because the ATS systems, they can't read tables. In fact, I would advise you to avoid PDFs when you're submitting your CV. Most of these documents, unfortunately, they are not, maybe with AI they'll be better, but at the moment, they are not as great as you would think. So when you create a document, a CV on Microsoft Documents, and then you print it as a PDF, you think that's great, it looks professional and all that. I don't know why, but some of the ATS systems don't see certain keywords. But when it's in Microsoft Word, it gives the permission to read and write. You understand? Because it's a Microsoft Word document most of the time. That allows the ATS systems have the access, the level of permission to go through your CV as if they are about to write into it. And I don't know, I've just noticed that has been more accurate than reading normal PDFs documents. Some recruiters will be open with you and tell you that, can you send the document version of this? But many won't. I don't even think many know. If you're sending your document, don't even send the 2 copies. Send the document copy if you can. I always do that. And one other point, obviously the columns. If you can see the CV I made here, like I have just lines to separate different sections, but I didn't include like vertical columns. No. And like I said, it comes back to the idea of your CV might not be understood by those ATS systems. So try and avoid columns, avoid unnecessary styles and fonts and all those kind of things. Avoid images, avoid graphics, avoid tables. Those are the first things. So use plain text with proper headings and bullet points. If you can do that, amazing. So like, first of all these images, because this is a template, I would remove them. The other thing, now we've talked about formatting, right? Try and make sure that you're helping the algorithm find you as best as possible. This is how I'll build a CV normally. I'll put my name here and it will be in like large font size. So this one will probably be like 16, depending on the size of your other text, but usually this could be around 10 for this easy visibility. And up here you want to have your address, so city, your country, many roles would not employ you because of your city. I understand when you don't want to put it so that they ask you, but imagine there's a pool of 50 people and they all put their city. They won't call you. You understand? So don't lose an opportunity because you did not notify them of your city. You did not have your phone number for easy communication and contact, and your email address. Now, this is optional, but I would advise if you can show this is great because it shows that validation. And I'll tell you, many recruiters actually go to your LinkedIn profile. So when you put your LinkedIn profile link there, they click that, they check it out just to see like it actually tallies with what you have on your CV. Secondly, we check for social status. We just want to know, like, is this person passionate about their profession? You know, are they just socially normal and, you know, excited to be among a team? Would they be a fit for our culture and those kind of things? So your LinkedIn profile is one other place that recruiters use as an opportunity to get a feel of your vibe. And that's why it's always nice to take your time to update your LinkedIn profile. Take your time to reach out to one or two of your friends for recommendations. Post or repost some things sometimes when you see them online and they're exciting. So let's come down to professional summary. With your professional summary, it's simple. I've put a template here just to show you how you can organize yours. But it's very important that you highlight some keywords. For here, example, I said a highly skilled and result-oriented ... What that would be is a highly skilled and result-oriented cloud security engineer. That's telling people that I am confident in my skills and I am result-oriented. We don't want to hear your problems. We know you're going to run into troubleshooting issues when you're working, but what kind of mindset do you have? This is immediately telling them that I have the mindset of delivering results. So that's why that is the first thing that will capture a recruiter's idea, like, okay, I can get a vibe of who this person is or what kind of professional they are in the role. And now I'm telling them how many years of experience I have automatically, even though at the bottom I have maybe my professional experience information, but you are giving the recruiter work by him calculating the years and everything. You're trying to make life as easy as possible for them to select you. What that means is by me telling him my role, my mindset, and the years of experience I have in certain domains, he already knows if I'm a fit for their role. And wouldn't you rather have a recruiter that is confident that you're a fit for their role than for you to be dancing around with them like, oh, I don't want to tell them I'm not good in this role because I want them to come in for an interview first, then I'll get a feel. No, bro, there's a lot of opportunities. It's better you find the ones that fit your style, fit your qualifications, so that you can be competent in delivering the values and services that is required of you in that role. So tell them what you are confident in, or at least tell them what you know you can go and study up on and be confident in. So there are two things involved, right? But let's get back into it. So with certain years of experience, usually I round it up. For instance, let's say I have 9 years of experience. I can put 9 years plus, right? Or I can put close to a decade. The reason for that is just, it sounds powerful. The thing is, if you're going from a mid-level role to a senior level role, most of the time is that 1 year difference that would actually get you qualified or not. They have a minimum of 11 years experience in certain roles, but you're already 10 years in that role and you're currently on your 11th year. You are confident that whatever that person in his 11th year can do, you can do it. So you can round that up. And I'm not saying this on codes, but I'm telling you that you can do that because this is all about your competence. If you know that you're competent enough to deliver that value, when they call you for an interview, you ace it. The questions they ask you, you know it. And if you don't get it, you learn from it. Let's get into it. So in key domains, my domains I mentioned here as example, in IT security. This is a very big domain. In cloud infrastructure, we're talking about the infrastructure of cloud systems, right? You're designing or developing the security of those systems. And then in risk and compliance. If you know anything about cybersecurity, you know that the industry is very big. What that means is we have people in SOC that have dedicated their whole career to that department. We have people in auditing, risk and compliance, governance. We have people in security engineering. You know, there are different areas, but that doesn't mean that a SOC analyst doesn't have experience in risk and compliance. And that is the way the role is, because a SOC analyst can learn by certification to specialize even deeper in risk and compliance. And that's the beauty about this role. So you can put those things that you have confidence in on that here. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be one and the same in that same field. Let's say your role has certain frameworks. For instance, for here, I could say proven expertise in ISO 27001 framework, NIST framework. These are frameworks that are required by certain organizations to adhere to certain regulations. So what that means is look and do some research in your own industry. If you're in business or in urban and regional planning, do you guys have certain frameworks and standards that you adhere to in your industry? If you need to practice on them, then you need to practice on them. But those are the areas that you can notify them that these certain things that you might be needing, I am like proficient in them. I have proven expertise in them. You can see the following here: with a strong track record of driving secure systems designs, regulatory compliance, and cross-functional collaborations. I think I should have zoomed in so I don't distract you guys, especially the fact that it is a video. This is to me the standard summary that I'll keep it simple. I'm not trying to complicate it, but I have been able to bring it down and compress my level of expertise and competence to that recruiter who will be reading it. But don't forget, it's not just a recruiter that will be reading this. First of all, it's an ATS system that will be reading this. So now an ATS system picks up all these keywords and see the years of experience. It's like, no, this person is very qualified for this role that we're scanning for. And that puts you in the next bucket. The second stage I like to put before any other information after the professional summary is your education. And why do I say that? Is basically because that education shows them your qualifications, not because professional experience is not important, but it's because we have summarized your professional competence and your experience in the first summary. So now what we need to show them is your level of education. You understand? Your background. If anyone is listening, maybe you can't see this video, the summary of what I mentioned during the professional summary is to make sure that your summary is around 3 to 4 lines. You can make it 5 depending on how much senior or experienced you are in your role, because all these things is subjective. It depends on your level of expertise in your role. Like, we advise you go for 2 pages of a CV, but if you have more role experience, then your CV can go to 3 or 4 pages, right? Secondly, summarize your role, summarize your years of experience, your key skills, and your industries. Pick up some of those keywords from your job descriptions. We're talking about like GRC, ISO 27001, cloud security, Azure security, and put them in your professional summary. Your goal is to make sure you nail the professional summary. If anyone is in an elevator speaking with the CEO of that company on your behalf, and you read your professional summary at once, you need to allow that CEO be like, no, we need that person in our company. That's the vibe you want to be giving them. So yeah, education here for me, I put a master's degree in cybersecurity, but just look at the formatting here. That's what I want you to pay attention to. So like I said, you can delete these pictures because this was a template. I did create this, but I had someone design it. Now the point is, you have your headline, which is education. So even not just the recruiter or whoever is reading it, but the system also know this is the education area, right? The category. So we're trying to break this into very organized categories. You understand? We have your degree, e.g. Master's, MSc in cybersecurity, the university name, the location, and the year. Now, when it comes to the university name, please put the full name of the university. On your CV, avoid as much as possible abbreviating anything. Try and put the full name. Like I said, it comes back to not just the ATS system, but anyone reading your CV. You're not trying to make life hard for them to be, assuming what something means. And it's also very unprofessional for you to be keeping abbreviations on your CV. You're trying to spell things out as much as possible to make the life of whoever is going through it easy. So it's very important over here in Ireland or EU, I would say, to put the level of qualification of that degree. So for instance, not every job you might apply for that will understand what that your MSc degree was, or let's say it was a different education that you went through, a diploma or a professional course. What level is that in the equivalence QQI system? And that's why you're including that here. So it will be like level QQ99. They now know, okay, this is a very high valued degree as well. And to be honest, some degrees have more value than others. For instance, a technical Bachelor of Engineering degree that I put here, it's not a BSc, it's a Bachelor in Engineering, so it's a BEng. That's also a very high level degree. It takes 5 years to qualify for that. It's kind of similar to someone going for a medical degree, you know, in medicine in school. So it's very important for you to put the level so that they can understand the value of that degree as well. But just pay attention to the formatting here. If you had more degrees, you put them in just this arrangement, but you start with the highest one and then you keep coming down gradually. What I mean by that is basically the most recent one. Sorry. So start with the most recent one that you went through, but if that's not the highest one, then I would still advise you to show the highest one first. So if a PhD is your highest qualification, put that on the top. And then we have certifications under. This is just showing your official qualifications. And then, you know, afterwards, you can now show them your professional experience, because that is where they will really spend the most time in. So we're trying to bring everything to them first, and then they can go through the professional experience. Certifications is quite straightforward. You have the certification name. If you have like an identification number on the certification, you include that. You include the issuing body and the year, right? So this is just standard. Some certifications also renew because they have to expire. So you can put the dates, like the year from 2022 to 2025, so on and so forth. I'm trying to keep this video quite short. That's why I'm speed running through it. But you guys should let me know if you want me to dive deeper into this beyond this, because this is a pretty deep dive. Someone said something to me once when I think I was interviewing for an Amazon role. Because of they use the STAR method, you can use that knowledge when you're preparing for an interview in preparing your CV. So be like, format your experience like a STAR method. But we'll come to that. So after your certifications, so one other thing that is very good to add is the optional mention of in progress. So let's say you already have 2 certifications. This is a very good trick, right? Any certification that you have in view that you have not completed but you're studying for, you can put that there. If you have 3 certifications that you're studying for, put that there as in progress. What that shows them is, let's say you were not qualified for the role because you lacked some certification that was required. You including that has just pre-qualified you, because the system will pick that up and throw you in the next bucket. Secondly, when you are asked about it during like maybe pre-interview qualification, you can speak more about it and how passionate you are, because any recruiter that sees this person is constantly evolving and leveling up their skills because they are interested in gaining certain certifications. I wouldn't say certification is the, you know, all Hail Mary, but they definitely are valued, you know, by recruiting systems and recruiters in general. Now let's go to your skills and tools. Okay, this applies more to, let's say, technical roles. In today's world, obviously, we're in a highly technology dependent industry and world. So most of the roles you work in use different kind of tools. So here you include that. I don't want you to bombard your CV with highly communicative, team player, all this kind of thing, because they would expect that, and that can reflect itself with the way you presented your CV. So rather than saying that, I can actually show you that I can communicate clearly by making your life easy while reading my CV. And all those things just really fill up your CV quickly. And imagine how many people will put that on their CV. So for you to really stand out, put in the keywords. And the keywords are the tools that are required for you to deliver your job in that role. For instance, when you see here, cloud security, I put in certain tools that are used by cloud security engineers in that bracket, and you can put as many here, because obviously in a day I use how many tools to carry out my job, different applications, right? When you put that tool, it basically means that you know how to use the tool, you know how to get around it. Because I'll tell you something though, during your interview they would ask you sometimes to explain certain things, to go deep into certain things, like, okay, with the Sentinel, how would you pull data from an on-premises server, for instance? They're asking you that question because you put it on your CV, first of all. Or sometimes it's because it's required for you to know how to use it for that role. But you need to be able to break down the process. You need to be able to tell them that, oh yes, so there is something called data connectors. I set it up here, I do this, and I click it. It will ask you for privileged access. If you can give them those kind of details, you are standing a far better chance than someone that says, yeah, I just opened the application and I look for where to select on-premises servers and I click them and I enter. Now imagine who they will pick. You understand? So that's the main thing. If you're talking about technical roles, please try and learn some of those workflows, processes. Don't just go on YouTube and read what the technology is. For instance, the Sentinel we're talking about now. If I don't know how to use Sentinel at all, and I just read, what does Sentinel do? Okay, yeah, Sentinel is like the CM system that's scanning and pulling data. Cool. And that's all I know. This is not that kind of interview where they just be like, what is Sentinel? No, they're gonna ask you because they need you to come and do the job for them. That's why it's important for you to take your time. Go on YouTube, watch a video or 2 or 3 of how to set up Sentinel for the work use cases. If you can gain access to a free trial of Sentinel, download it, install it, register, do it yourself. Even if it's once, just do it. That would give you so much confidence as well, because now you understand a little bit better about it. It's very important. And on your CV, you can see here in the skills section, we didn't even have to say experts. We just put in the skills and tools. So you didn't have to say high level experience with this tool or so. You're just putting it there for the system to pick you up. So that's the same thing I just did here, breaking it down, different areas of the industry. We have cloud security, GRC compliance, security tools, infrastructure, networking. And the reason is because for you to be a senior in this kind of roles, you have to have gone through different areas of the technology plane to show that, oh, I did this, I know this, I understand this, I understand. Because for you to be a senior level engineer, you get issues from different layers. So let's say most IT companies, for instance, they will be level 1, right? Level 1 tier, which is maybe technicians, they're on site, they're fixing things, starting things. Then maybe there's level 2, service desk, they get a call, they are fixing remotely, they're remoting into a system. But then there's level 3 and level 4, right? So the point is, if there is an issue that escalates to the point of an incident, you at that top level need to be able to understand it quickly. That means you have done it before, or you experience it, you know about it, and you can fix it or direct them in the best way possible. Because to be honest, when it gets to you at that point, there's nobody else to get to. You have to fix it. That's the difference. So you want the big pay, you get to have to fix big problems. But that's not the topic of today. The topic of today is how to make sure that your CV gets past all those scanning systems, all those basic level processing, and get you an interview. Yeah, I said highlight certifications and tools. I already spoke about that. Use a separate section if you have more than 3 certificates. Yeah, so that was very important. If you have multiple certificates, you can just use another section, so it's not just jam-packed in one as well. And okay, this is very important. Sometimes I see like my circle posting on LinkedIn, I just got the certification of completion. I completed this certificate or whatever. There's a difference in the industry of wherever. There's a difference in certificate of completion and certification for passing an examination. So on your CV, please try and avoid as many certification or certificate of completion as possible. You can put down your LinkedIn, boost it up, but your CV, if you have 20 of that, that's just noise. You understand? I would rather you maybe just put them in a strategic way at the bottom. Completed certifications in these courses or these topics or these domains, but the exams that you got and you have your badge, those are the ones that are valued. Those are more recognized certificates as well. And now we're in the professional experience section. It's quite simple here. The first thing, you want to put the company name, you want to put your job title and location. Now, when you're putting your job title, like I said earlier, be confident in the job role you did. Don't just give yourself a subtitle. Because I've noticed one thing, sometimes the employers giving you the role, they just give you a generic title because they didn't really take the time to ensure that the requirements that was required for you in that role was in line with so and so title. But you who know about that role should know the title, the accurate title for that role. So let's say they gave you IT manager, but what you are actually doing is IT sysadmin. Please update your CV in the right way. You understand? So that's one of the important things. I'm not saying go off board though. You say, oh, because they asked me to do security responsibility yesterday and they hired me as an IT manager, I'll go and change my CV to IT security engineer. That's not what I'm saying. The point is, what is your day-to-day activity in that company on a regular basis? If your job is this, try and make sure that your title aligns with that. Secondly, when you're choosing the start date, don't just put the year, put in the month if you can. If you can put a specific date, beautiful. So we're talking about, instead of just saying May 2025, if you can put 16th of May 2025, that is way more beautiful than just putting the month. And I don't know why, but it's very important for recruiters to know that he ended on this date and it tallies with so and so date. They want to know how many days you were off work before you started a new job and stuff like that. So the more information you can give them, the better it is for them to feel like they know you and they're ready to consider you for an interview. When it comes down to the bullet points on your professional experience, right? Don't be passive. You need to show yourself as an active member of that team if you were part of a team in a role. So for example, here I said led the implementation of framework or projects across department, team, organization. I've seen many mistakes where people who actually led the project would be like, was part of a team of 19 people who worked on the project implementation across this. We don't know what you did. Like, we can't even be confident if you know how to use the framework. Because you were part of the team doesn't necessarily mean that you know how to use it. So those are passive. If you don't take that proactive responsibility that you developed the script, because now you're telling me that you led a team, you led the implementation, automatically gives me a hint that he's a leader or he has leadership traits. So this person might be an asset to our team who is lacking leadership at the moment. We feel this guy will be a good member, addition to our team. Developed script. So rather than saying utilized script, you rather take in the responsibility that you developed the script or you customized the script, rather downloaded scripts or used script. Because if you use the script, doesn't even mean you understand the script. You led, you conducted, you developed, you collaborated. Those are things that help people know the quantity. They quantify your quality, your qualification. So at the bottom here, you can see something very important. I said conducted certain types of assessment. Now you're going into specifics here. Reducing vulnerabilities by certain percentage. By you putting a number of percentage, it's very important. So two things happen there. We understand that you actually knew the specifics. So you were detail oriented. You kind of knew what you wanted at the end of that project. Secondly, it gives us a hint that maybe if he's able to do this for so and so company, even if we get just half of that in our own company's issue here, that would actually make a massive dent. See, every time recruiters are looking at your CV, they're looking at the potential of how you can come and help them. They're not looking at you like, oh, this is a sorry case, let us help his life or her life because she's struggling to make enemies. That's not their point. Their point is, how can we pay this person little compared to their value and make them help us? They're not trying to overspend on us or you understand what I mean? So if a recruiter is paying you 100 G's, it's because they believe that your value is 150 G's. So it's your job to make sure they see you in that way. And when they pay you 100 G's, you're not going to be like, oh my God. You're going to be like, okay, that's cool. You understand? That's the important thing there. So when you're creating your CV, you're showing them that leadership tendencies, the importance of how you were able to lead your team, teach, run courses and stuff like that. And you can even see the stage where you collaborated with certain stakeholders. You had an end goal to achieve outcome. That was just one of the things I wanted to say there. So tips for viewers: use action verbs, quantify result when possible. I hope this template, because not everybody might see my video, so I try to put as much information on the template as possible so that when you maybe share it to your friend or your family members, they can just use this as on its own. But if by all means, they want to watch the video or you want to share the video to them, thank you so much. Like the video, comment if you're enjoying this kind of video, if you're enjoying the value we're putting in this, and subscribe, guys. Come on, subscribe for this. Just smash the like button, just smash it anyhow. The point is we're trying to grow the channel, but also connect with a lot of more like-minded people that I know can use value, not just here, because to be honest, the goal is not just this. The goal is for you to level up one way or the other, but this is one of the fastest way now, because if you get that dream job you're looking for, get your money up, and you can have the bandwidth to take your money and put it into other savings, other investments where the real money making lies. But for now, let's focus on this. So we talked about the company, you break down more companies and all that. You can see the way I organized it. What did you oversee? You oversaw the compliance of so across so and so business units. You improved the systems by measurable results. The measurable results could be percentage, could be number of systems, it could be reduction of costs. You helped in cost savings by 20%, by $1 million. You managed an account of $2 billion across 12 months and scaled so and so from this range to this range. You're quantifying and using action verbs to make sure that they see you as someone who is active. Now, this one is conductor penetration testing, fixes within so and so days. And here is also like a skills section, but it's kind of like a quick summary of the professional experience that they read through. Once they've gone through all that information, we just want to, bring them down to some key points that they can take away from that quickly as well. So key competencies, cloud compliance and architecture. That's a very powerful role that if they see, oh, this is someone who says he's confident in this area, so I bring those highlighted information up here for anyone who wants to see that. And here is just it's a soft touch to a CV. I know many people don't value it, but I think it's very nice. I think it's something that shows the human side of you, because think about this, we're going through your CV like robotic and all that, and then we see something that takes us out of that mode of job. We're just like, oh, this person is passionate about this. Oh, and sometimes you never know, that company might also have their hands with certain NGOs or volunteering to certain outlets and stuff. So when they see something similar, they're like, oh, I like that, that's interesting. So it's very nice to always have this community volunteering work. But guys, if you've not done any of those, please take one moment or two, one weekend, go and find out what's happening around you, your area. Just Google and all that. You'll find certain events, local events, volunteering opportunities to join. And it's not just because you're doing it to find a job. I personally think it's very fulfilling when you go and join like a small group for a marathon or a cleaning weekend, at a small community. You are proud of yourself, but also it's actually fulfilling, guys. And then you get the chance to put it on your CV to just tell people a little bit about what you've done outside of, oh, I need to be paid for these, I care about this, basically. After you've done your key competencies and the community work and volunteering section, now I believe your CV is quite close to being done. One other section that you can actually add is a project session. I didn't add that here because it's not necessary, but if you have done a lot of projects, you can add that at the bottom just to show that these are the high level projects that I worked on, publications that I've worked on, and that can also add more validation to your skills in front of the recruiter. That won't necessarily be picked up by the ATS system depending on the level of keywords in it, but that's something that can be very vital to help you cross. It can just put you even in the first group of selections depending on how rigorous the selection process is. This is just the final tips for anyone watching the video. I already spoke about this at length, but in case you get to send this CV, because I'll put the CV in the description so that you guys can download it and customize it as you find suitable. But just make sure that you keep it short, except if you're a very highly technical person in your role or academic field and you have a lot of experience. Add measurable impact, like I said. Don't overpopulate your CV because you're trying to look like a very important person. Just prioritize the relevant information to the job. So basically around 7 bullet points would be a lot, but okay, depending on how technical and important that role was. Ideally you can go from 5 to 6, 5 to 7, but if you're going above that, I would say then that role is very technical and there's a lot of information that you need to put into it. But still, don't go above 12. Use clean professional formatting. Like I said, avoid tables, avoid pictures or any complex layout because the ATS systems, they can't read them. Secondly, things can break. So if you start putting columns here and there, I don't know if some of you have noticed it, the minute you export it to a PDF format, you see your text upward somewhere else, or the minute you convert that Word document to docx document or something, or Mac document, you notice it's a different story. So try and keep it as simple as possible whenever you can, and just tailor every section to match the job you're applying for. Like I said, also it's gonna be hard for you to keep up with coming back to customize your CV all the time because of this job needs this experience. So I would just say go for one ultimate CV. Create one CV that's your ultimate CV. It has your AWS experience, your Azure experience in it, but maybe you're more of an Azure competent engineer, so highlight that around 70% and 30% your AWS skills. That is fine, because the main goal is you're looking for roles that you can thrive in, you know. So your Azure roles will be more prioritized for applications that you apply for, and that's cool. You know, the minute you level up on your AWS, you can increase the level of information and priority you give to that on your CV as well. Well, without yapping too long, only God knows how long this video is. Guys, I really do appreciate you for watching this video till this point. I know the mic is here, so I hope I've not been screaming at your ear. But if I have, apologies. I just want to say thank you guys for engaging with the content. Thank you guys for sharing. To be honest, this social media game, we just decided to start, you know, coming outside, because my head have always been in work mode. I have cooked in different various sections of the industry. We're talking of IT, creative industry as well, but I want to connect with you guys. So let me know your name, let me know your industry, the area you're trying to transition into, what your interests are, what value you got from this video, or what didn't connect with you. Just let me know, guys, in the comment section, because the moment you let me do that, you kill two birds with that one stone. You help the algorithm, you know, push the content further, but you also let me know what to look into deeper and understand that, okay, maybe I can make a better video on this or clarify certain things. Generally, it will make the content that comes forward much more better. So thank you guys once again. Please smash that subscribe and like button. Let's get this to like 500 likes if possible, you know. That'd be amazing, guys. So appreciate you guys sticking for this long, and see you guys on the next one. Cheers. Connect with me on every social media platform at Raj Maverick.